Hello, everybody. Today we're back at Brighton, Shoreham Airport, right outside Brighton. And I did a video the other day of just kind of flying down the coastline to see the pier and the kind of the new scenery that was built up in this area. But today I'm going to do kind of a perimeter flight around Brighton just to show the whole town area, the countryside, because it really is pretty and they really did do a good job on it. So I want to put it on for other people to see. So we're going to crank up this Sky Stationair and get her going. And we'll probably be flying her with one notch of flaps down so we can keep her slow. All right, let's go ahead and crank it up. Get these lights on. Don't need my taxi lights. And let everybody know we're getting ready to crank up here. Fair problem. All right, she's running. So we'll set the altimeter. Is good. Directional gyro is set now. We'll set the heading bug when we get center on the runway. Waiting for that oil pressure to come up just a little bit more. Go ahead and taxi and bring that temperature up a little bit. Not quite sure how much additional scenery was put here on this airport at Brighton, but I think it was doctored up a little bit anyway. And I give a shout out to one of my viewers who is from Brighton. Who would have known, huh? What a small world. So kind of did let him know I was going to be doing this flight of a little bit broader area of Brighton. So hopefully we can keep the stuttering down to a minimum, and hopefully the scenery will render in before I'm on top of it. Before I'm on top of it, because sometimes that's what happens. It won't change until you're right there. But as it is right now, I'm not seeing any indication of stuttering, because if I usually know right away because of my mouse pointer, it's smooth going across the screen. So if it's jittery, then I know that it's going to be stuttering in the air. So and I did a video today on castles in Ireland, which there's a mess of them. And I've kind of picked out about 20 of the most popular. And I did 5 or maybe 5 of them, I think. Put them on, but they're cool to fly over. Microsoft did a pretty good job on rendering the building. Looks good. All right, we'll wait here. I've got my radios turned off, by the way. That's why you're not hearing a bunch of chattering. So I'm gonna have to look and see. Okay, they've cleared us for runway 20. So we can go ahead and get going. I got 1 notch of flaps down. Temperatures, pressure, electrical, and fuel are all in the green. That's good. Got 1 notch of flaps in. Props forward. Mixtures forward. Trim is neutral. Once we get on the center line here, I'll put my heading bug straight ahead. Here we go. Get her stop. Move that heading bug up to right about there. That'll work. Autopilot is off. We'll bring it on once we get in the air. Try to keep around 2,000 feet just so you can see things good. The other thing I'm going to do, just excuse me while I do this, I'm going to clear this sky up just so visibility is better. Clear sky. There we go. Kind of unusual, I know, for England. All right. We're on our way. We got airspeed live. This girl likes to get that nose off at about 60 so she doesn't chatter. And then she comes right off the ground quick. Big honking motor in this thing. And we're already hitting the shoreline. So if I turn to the left, it's going to take me toward the pier. We're going to go off to the right and circle around that way so we can cover as much of Brighton as possible. It's a pretty big area, so I'm live right now streaming, and of course I'll edit this video when I'm done, so we probably won't have a very lengthy flight, but I want to cover as much as I can. I'm keeping the power up, max power right now. I'm going to pull her back just a little bit. And we'll pull that prop back just a little bit, keep that engine happy. Mixture back slightly. I forgot to turn my popsicles off for the points of interest. I don't usually put those up. I don't like them, but they are handy when you are trying to find a point of interest that you really don't know where it is. And in my case today with the castles, it did help out quite a bit. All right, so I'm going to put altitude hold on, see if she'll take. Bring our heading bug around to the east. Engage the heading, select. And there she goes. We'll fly due east. And we'll bring that flap up. I think we can, at this speed here, it doesn't seem to be too bad. We're sitting there at about 120. So again, this is all new scenery put in for this area, Brighton. And of course, a lot of England was done. Wales, Ireland, Scotland, a lot of the places were updated with new satellite imagery, and of course it was 3D imaging is used to put the houses what they probably should look like at 2,000 feet. You get a little lower, and it gets a little gothic looking, but they are, oh my God, they're so much better than they were, say, a month ago. Pretty detailed. I think if I was flying over your house or your place of business, you could probably pick it out. Pretty sure you could. So we'll fly east to the Knolls up ahead at 12 o'clock. And then I'll turn around and I'll come back on the left side, on my left side right now. We'll come back on that edge. There's the railroad tracks down below us, depicted completely different than it used to be depicted. Before it was just kind of like a brown line. Now you can actually almost see the tracks. It's that clear. My viewer had mentioned something to me about it being American, so I guess it's my voice. But even in America, a lot of people that have talked to me, they're not really sure where my accent is. I've lived all over the world, and depending on how long you live in a certain place, you start picking up crazy accents, and so it kind of changes a little bit. But I am from Delaware, and we call it down where I live lower, slower Delaware, and we do have good slang. Tend to cut off our words. But it's nothing like when I lived in Alabama. And then I lived down there for quite a while, so I picked up that. And then if you mix that with Delaware accent, oh my God, it's insane. But yeah, from USA. But I do love flying in England, mainly because of the historical part of it. England is so old, so much history. I mean, United States has good history, but nothing like England. And my ancestry is started out as far back as I could see in France. And then as a Fraser family, Fraser, we kind of marched our way up to Scotland, and part of the Fraser clan up there. And then our family eventually moved over to the United States, to the Pennsylvania area, and then scattered all over the place, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, Ohio, you name it. We split up pretty good. And of course the Fraser name gets broken up and split up into all kinds of names, Smiths and Wilsons and you name it. So yeah, very interesting. So I have a little bit of ancestry A little bit of ancestry going on here in England. I have visited England a few times, Scotland, Ireland. I was just in Ireland and Scotland uh, last summer, for like the second time in a few years, and it's still beautiful. And so when I get on this simulator, it brings back a lot of memories when I'm flying down to some of these areas that are country. And then the other aspect of it is aviation history as far as England goes. They've got some of the best World War II and World War I aircraft ever. And of course, they incorporated a lot of planes from the United States. Um, so yeah, I'm a big history buff on aviation around England, and I do love their airplanes. I'm kind of a vintage nut myself. I've actually flown quite a few vintage airplanes, um, and to be honest with you, I would rather fly them than this plane right here. If I was a traveling man, I was going to bring my family along with me, this is the plane I would do it in. This Stationair is sweet. It's got plenty of power, carry a lot of baggage, but no, I do love my vintage airplanes. I love the Jenny, the J3 Cub, Tiger Moth, and just recently I got the Westland Scout, and of course I flew helicopters for many years, and that was just a blast to get. It flies super nice, looks good. You get immersed in it pretty good because of what they've put in the plane, and how the design was done. Tell you what, I'm going to brake over here to the right just a little bit. This elevation change over here is interesting looking. Looks like it drops off pretty good. One of the things that Microsoft has done with this simulator is they're constantly working on elevation work, getting the elevation right on scenery. And I mean, it's pretty much spot on now. All right, we'll bring her back around. So all the pressures, temperatures are looking good. Electrical's good, fuel's good. Everything's doing good. This plane is flying great. A little turbulence every now and then, and that might be because of this terrain. I'm a little surprised there's not any more ships offshore. Usually, see quite a few tankers, fishing boats, whatever, offshore. And I know it's done by time, certain times of the day, so just probably not anything in the area, but there should be some up by the marina. But you just never know. But I've done trips across the Atlantic with airliners, and you could look down sometimes and see these ships. It's crazy, and they're on their route. Usually they're oil tankers or LPG carriers, car carriers. It's actually pretty cool. One of the areas I was impressed with, shown on my mouse right now out in front of the plane, is this industrial area up in here. Was done, there's a smokestack right there. But anyway, it was done really, really good. It's detailed, very detailed. Let's go ahead and drop down about 100 feet or so, and we'll get a little closer to shore. There we go. 1,000 foot should be good. There's that industrial area. That's really good. I mean, they got piles of dirt and sand or whatever it is. I don't know. Feed. Who knows what it is, but they've got it detailed out. Pretty daggone good, I think. Beaches look good. Got a lot more texture to them now than they did before. Used to be just a tan line. Again, forgive me for these lollipops sticking up. I just forgot to take them off. Just going up the line looks pretty cool on the British Airways 360 tower. That's pretty cool. I like how they did that. The buildings down there look good. It's like I said, when you get lower, they're not perfect. But from this altitude right here, the rendering is pretty good on it. Ship out there a little bit further out there in the water. It's probably a bigger boat. This inlet marina was done very well. England, Scotland, Wales, all of them, a lot different in the way you enter harbors with the breakwaters, rocks and things. You don't see that much over in the United States, but you see it a lot over in England and stuff. And that's such a cool idea because it does protect the boats and ships. thought this was a ship out here, but I'm not quite sure what that thing is. Check it out right quick. Is that just a little island out there? You gotta be kidding. That's what it looks like. Maybe a rock sticking out of the water? I really can't tell what that is. Whatever it was, it just disappeared. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's a sail ship. Okay, I got you. It's a sail ship, but it hadn't completely rendered in. All right. I wasn't quite sure what that was. All right, let's turn. About 30. Check these cliffs out. They'll probably render in a little bit as we get closer. Any of you simmers out there have not been to the Cliffs of Moher in Ireland, I would suggest you go check it out. That is amazing. They did a phenomenal job on that. That can't be easy to get the cliffs to look the way they did. They got them. I was very impressed. And it was one of the places I stopped at last summer to look at the cliffs, and we actually took a boat from one of the marinas, and they take you down alongside of the cliffs. And when they do that, of course, you get to see all the puffins and the birds and stuff, seabirds flying around. It's pretty cool. This is very impressive. It does not look anything like it did before. It must be nice to have your area where you live done up like this. If you're a simmer or just an enthusiast watching YouTube aviation, sim flyers, because it's your hometown. You know it. You know every spot of it. And that's an interesting place looking down there. Anybody knows what that is? Interesting looking building. Delaware, being a very small state, it's I have to say it's very generic. And I would love to have the airports redone. At least, the bigger ones, Sussex County Airport, that's the one I fly out of, which is KGED. And then there's Summit Airport, and then there's Wilmington, which is our most northern airport. And there's actually an airline that runs out of there, and it's pretty sad to look at. And then Dover Air Force Base is used to be one of the biggest C5 bases in the Air Force. Now it's C-17s and C-141s, C-5s, you name it, they got it. But it's embarrassing. I just wish, somebody would do it. Maybe with this new Flight Sim 24 coming out in November, maybe that will be done. God, I hope so. Makes it so much more immersive. when you're flying over stuff you know, and it's detailed like this. So we're going to head back to the airport, put her down. And I plan on doing some more research on Brighton as far as the history point part goes. Its history, especially during World War II. I haven't really gone in depth with it, so I do want to do that soon. And we'll get that prop pushed back in, get the mixture back in. And let's go ahead and land her on the grass. Maybe I can get her slowed down enough. See if we can't grease this baby on this grass. That's good enough for government work. Nice. She's on the heavy side. She will drop out on you pretty quick if you don't keep that power in just right. Go to the end of the marker here and turn left on the grass and not get in too much trouble for it. There's a little bit of wind coming down that runway, but it wasn't bad. It'd be nice if I could open this hangar door, but that's not going to happen. Brakes on. All right, so engine cowling flaps are in, flaps are in, propellers full in, mixtures back in, throttles all the way out. Let me get rid of this. And we'll turn our avionics off, get all of our lights turned off. Oops. That one, make sure that mixture is, well, that's hard to get lined up right. these fuel pumps off and kill the battery. And let's let everybody out. And I had Miss Jessica with us today on this flight. All right, listen, I hope you enjoyed that flight of Brighton. That's the whole perimeter around the great place, and it's pretty. I like it. And there's a lot more of England that looks like that, so why not take a good look at it? We'll talk to y'all later.